ANC's National Executive Committee is expected to clarify the recalling of President Jacob Zuma, the same issue before election campaigns for 2019 tomorrow. And there have been reports that the KwaZulu-Natal and Free State's Provincial Executive Committees also be dissolved. The future of President Jacob Zuma now lies in the top six officials. This follows the ANC's NEC meeting, which discussed the issues of his recall last night. And Mshengu joins us once again, and she also has a guest with her. Ayanda, take it away.
All right, Alicia, warm welcome once again, and to our viewers, a very warm welcome. We've moved slightly a bit from the ANC's provincial headquarters where we were earlier on, and now we are joined by Mshengu, who has been speaking on behalf of the applicants in the ANC court case. We spoke earlier on about that 2015 court case where 5 ANC branch members took the matter to a court. And of course, the Pietermaritzburg High Court ruled in their favor. Now, those applicants, after the court case or during the court case, then had also said that they'd supported now President of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa. And they were then in KwaZulu-Natal. It became two factions. It was the PC of KwaZulu-Natal versus those that had been against or that had been challenging the PC. And just to bring in Mshengu, of course, on these latest developments now in the news coming from that NEC meeting which is taking place in Irene, to say that one of the decisions that they've taken is to suspend or dissolve the PC in KwaZulu-Natal and install an interim committee. Mshengu, good morning and thanks very much for joining us. Of course, just firstly, just to get your reaction, you have been saying that even last year when you took that matter to court, the order of execution that you're seeking from the court, where you had said that you wanted the PEC of KwaZulu-Natal to vacate its office, and you had said that you wanted the NEC to take a decision so that there is an interim structure that is put in place in KwaZulu-Natal to help build and rebuild the party. It seems that you finally got what you'd hoped for. A decision now has come from the NEC. Your reaction?
No, I think finally justice has been done. I think the President's statement that the ANC has to undergo a process of renewal and unity is in fact in motion, and therefore we are grateful to the NEC for the decision that they have taken. And it is not just a decision for the sake of a decision, but it is a decision to actually renew and unite the African National Congress in the province of KwaZulu-Natal and in the country at large, because the national general elections coming next year requires a united and strong African National Congress in order for us to reclaim the lost ground in a number of provinces, but in particular there are districts in our province where we did not do well in the local government elections in 2016, and therefore a united African National Congress is going to be very key in us having a legitimate structure that is going to take the African National Congress forward.
Let me just first start now, Mshengu, with the interim structure. You'd been calling for the NEC to take a decision, and that you'd specifically said that you'd wanted an inclusive structure. Take us through, what did you mean when you said you wanted inclusive, meaning representing from some representing the now former PEC, as well as those members of the ANC that you've been supporting, those that have been challenging the PC?
I think there is an acknowledgement from all corners that the organization is structured, that there are two solid factions in KwaZulu-Natal, of which we want to undertake a very strong process of doing away with that. No one wants to be associated with the faction. We want to be associated with the African National Congress. Well, that's what we joined. We did not join factions, and therefore for us to be afforded an opportunity to partake in a process of renewal that is actually going to rebuild the trust that South Africans and KwaZulu-Natal people have in the African National Congress. Acknowledging that there are factions, it means we are saying yes, there are challenges, but we are prepared, all of us, to be part of those challenges. Those who opposed the now disbanded PEC and those who were in the PEC, I want to believe that all of us together we want to be part of a renewal process led by President Ramaphosa.
Let me just now go back. Aside from now the decision that has been taken by the NEC, of course, there were steps that you were taking in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. You're speaking of the two factions. There were steps, and particularly with regards to the relationship between Sihle Zikalala and Senzo Mchunu, and there had been 3-a-side committees that was sitting to try and bring the two sides together. How far are those talks? How far are those talks now? And also, are they going to continue now that, of course, there's this decision that has been taken?
It's quite unfortunate that the challenges that we are having have the face of Comrade Sihle and Comrade Senzo. In actual fact, they are not necessarily the faces of those factions. There are two differences or are different groups that believes in a particular perspective in terms of leadership. Now, Comrade Senzo is a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, and Comrade Sihle, as you would know, that is just an ordinary member of a branch. Going forward, yes, the 3-a-side teams that were formed pre-conference of December last year continues to engage with the sole purpose of finding a lasting solution on our own internal issues as people of KwaZulu-Natal. And I do believe that the comrades who are leading those discussions will, in a matter of time, convene both teams, or rather both structures that they represent, in order to give a report on the progress that they've made. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm very satisfied with the progress that they have made so far in relation to harmonizing the relations in terms of the two groups that have not been seeing matters in a common way.
And of course, Mshengu, now everybody will be, all eyes on KwaZulu-Natal will be on the provincial conference and preparations for it. Still a few steps, though, that needs to take place. The branches as well needs to be in order. Branch meetings need to take place. The regional conferences as well need to be held before one understands you can go to a provincial conference or hold a provincial conference. There were a number of challenges at branch levels, and I know even when the ANC went to its national conference, some of those matters may have not been resolved. Does this now obviously provide that opportunity for the branches that had challenges that had been disbanded, BECs or the executive committees of branches stripped of their powers, etc.? Does this now afford that opportunity, and what is the status of some of their branches according to what you know?
Look, as I said earlier on, we've been given yet another opportunity to renew the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. There are regions that were disbanded. You will know that, for instance, Lower South Coast, their executive powers was taken away. We hope that the task team, as soon as it is in place, it is going to revisit those areas. There are branches that were dissolved without proper following the dictate of the constitution of the ANC on how do you dissolve a branch. There has been quite a number of abnormal decisions that have been taken in the past, and those decisions will have to be revisited in order for us to have a stronger footing going forward. We can't just say we are going to stream forward without actually looking back at what has gone wrong and how do we fix those so that we move forward, but with the sole purpose of never repeating the same mistakes that the now dissolved PEC have done. And all of us, we may have committed some serious errors that have made the ANC to look like a yo-yo kind of an organization. And we would want perhaps to apologize to the people of KwaZulu-Natal. They have entrusted us with the responsibility of leading the province. And going forward, we have to provide services that are going to actually improve the lives of the people of the province. By doing so, you need stronger structures in terms of branches, in terms of regions, and a strong and democratic province that is going to actually marshal all our forces in terms of going forward to 2019 national elections campaign.
Mshengu, before I let you go, just one last question, and you were touching on the matter of government as well, and that there has been, of course, the focus has been so much on the ANC that possibly less this focus has been on the government here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Now, the question people might now asking, and I don't know if you can share your comments with us or explain to us, is what then happens? The likes of Sihle Zikalala and some of the members of the PEC are also MECs. Mr. Wilson Mkhunu, who's the deputy chairperson in the province, is the premier of the province. From your understanding, does it have any bearing on the government and the positions that they hold in government?
No. I think that's a separate process altogether. But I would say to you, the PTT, in order to harmonize the organization, it will also have to audit quite a number of decisions that would have been taken by the now dissolved PEC, but without a purpose of perhaps dismantling or causing any disturbance in the provincial government, but with the purpose of actually ensuring that we have legitimate structures, we have a government that is accountable to the ANC, but to the people of the province. There are quite a number of governance challenges that we have, and those governance challenges must be tackled head-on by the incoming PTT, so that at the end of the day, all of us as people of KwaZulu-Natal feel accommodated and our voices are expressed through a legitimate PTT that will ultimately lead us to a provincial conference that will take all of us forward.
Stembi Mshengu, thank you so much for your time. Stembi Mshengu there giving us his reaction to the news there, Alicia, of course, that the NEC has decided that KwaZulu-Natal, or the Provincial Executive Committee of KwaZulu-Natal, is going to be suspended, and an interim structure is going to be then put in place. And of course, he is representing the applicants in that ANC court case, speaking in behalf of those, and the other faction in KwaZulu-Natal that has somewhat put the former now PEC on its toes and it challenging that 2015 elective conference. And certainly throughout the day we'll be getting reaction to this news and what really it means going forward. Mshengu has given us, of course, some of his input. There is still, as I asked him that question on the government, there's still a lot of concerns and questions that people are now asking. What then happens to these ANC leaders who are also holding positions in government? Will it be affected as well? And these are the questions that we are going to be trying to obviously get from the other side as well, what their thoughts are. We were trying to get earlier on Dumseni Ntuli. We understand that he is not around in Durban, but he is somebody that we're at least going to try, even if we get him over the phone, just to get their side and what their reaction is to this decision by the NEC. And moving forward, as Stems have said, that this is a step in the right direction for, well, that side. His faction certainly agrees that this is a step in the right to rebuilding the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. And even the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, has stressed the importance of this province, saying that it still remains a very influential province and important province for the ANC. And so they have to deal with the challenges that are affecting this province. And certainly, as Mshengu was saying, they feel that it's one step towards rebuilding the ANC here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Alicia will be on the story throughout the day. I'm going to leave it here for now and take things back to you in studio.
All right, Ayanda, before I let you go, just a quick one. If you can still hear me, I hear what Stembiso is saying there, but who is solely responsible now for installing the interim structure? Is the decision based solely upon the NEC?
Well, I guess that we'll have to wait. I guess that is a decision that will possibly be made by the NEC. They will have to elect the members of this provincial task team. As he said, that it has to be, they've said that it has to be a task team that is inclusive of both members or representatives of the two factions here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And now with the election of the National Working Committee, that is probably the committee that one understands will be responsible for electing who amongst, or who will be the members of this provincial task team. And certainly the NEC is going to possibly be here. It does have provincial deployees, and once it's decided who will be the deployees to the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and they will also be there to assist the PTT and assist the province as it moves forward towards a provincial conference.
Ayanda, thank you so much for that live update. I reporter there outside the Pixley Kaseme House in Durban. Ayanda Mshengu talking to us about, of course, the latest news that we've just heard, the NEC deciding to disband the PECs in both the Free State as well as KwaZulu-Natal.